3 days ago, a filing appeared on Companies House that nobody in television has mentioned yet. It belongs to Kaleb Cooper, 26 years old, farm manager from Chipping Norton. The man Jeremy Clarkson spent 5 seasons treating like the punchline of every episode, and the filing says he's worth close to £1 million. Not from Clarkson's farm wages, not from being famous, from something he built quietly, on the side, while an entire industry was busy laughing at him for hating sheep. Here's what the industry got wrong. They looked at Kaleb and saw a type. The local lad. Blunt, unimpressed by Clarkson's nonsense. Good value on camera because he says exactly what he thinks and doesn't dress it up. Useful. Entertaining. A supporting character in someone else's show. What they missed is that the same bluntness that made him good television is the exact thing that made him dangerous to underestimate. Let's start with the numbers, because they don't just tell you where he is, they tell you how fast he got here. 2 years ago, Kaleb Cooper Productions Limited was a modest company by celebrity standards. Its accounts showed just over £122,000 in equity. Respectable, for a farm manager who'd recently become a television face. Nothing that would make anyone in the industry sit up. The following year, that figure had roughly doubled, past £242,000. Still the kind of growth people put down to, the show's popular right now, good for him. Now the most recent filing has landed. £908,860 in equity. £666,000 of that arrived as profit in a single 12-month period, not doubled, nearly quadrupled in 1 year, from a base that had already doubled the year before. That's not the shape of a TV wage growing, that's the shape of a business compounding. And this isn't one company, it's 3. Kaleb Cooper Productions holds the media money. TV fees, tour income, book royalties. Kaleb Cooper Contracting is the original business, the one that predates the show entirely, still working farms across the Cotswolds. Its equity has grown too, from around £52,000 to over £96,000 in the same window. Smaller numbers, but the same pattern of quiet, steady compounding, running in the background the whole time nobody was watching. Then there's the one almost nobody talks about, Kaleb Cooper Holdings. Holding companies exist for one reason. They hold assets, land, equipment, future acquisitions. Kaleb has said publicly, more than once, that owning his own farm has been the dream since he was a kid, long before any camera ever pointed at him. He didn't just say it and hope. He built the legal structure to make it real. The industry thought it had a sidekick. The sidekick was quietly filing the paperwork to become a landowner. Here's the detail that actually gives away how deliberate this was. In 2022, he published a book. Bestseller. The industry shrugged it off as a nice little celebrity add-on. Every reality face gets a ghost-written memoir eventually. Nobody thought much of it. Then 2023, another one. Bestseller again. Then 2024, a third. 3 bestsellers in 3 years, and every royalty from every one of them flows straight back into that production company. A book isn't just a payday, it's independence. It sells whether or not Amazon renews Clarkson's farm next year. A royalty check doesn't check the schedule. The industry built his fame. He built a back catalog that keeps paying him whether the industry wants it to or not. It goes further. In 2024, Kaleb did a nationwide theater tour. Just him on a stage, talking about tractors, farming, and his ongoing feud with sheep. No Clarkson. No Amazon crew following him around for a season. Just a 20-something farmer and a microphone, selling out venues built for actors and comedians. It's sold out. The final night at Cheltenham's Everyman Theater was filmed by Amazon Prime Video. Not for Clarkson's farm. For a separate project about Kaleb's tour, commissioned on its own terms. Amazon didn't renew a show he happens to appear in. They looked at Kaleb Cooper specifically and decided he was worth backing on his own. That's the part the industry didn't see coming. Now here's the contrast that makes the whole thing land. As a teenager building his contracting business, Kaleb paid himself 50 pence an hour. He's talked about it openly. 50 pence. For work that needed real machinery and real knowledge of the land. The kind you don't learn from a course. The kind that takes years of getting up before sunrise to actually understand. If you've ever started something on nothing and kept going anyway because you believed it would eventually add up, that's the feeling underneath this whole story. From 50 pence an hour to £666,000 in a single year's profit isn't luck. That's someone who knew exactly what he had years before anyone else did, and simply waited for the moment to use it. If you're finding this as surprising as we did when we first pulled these filings, it might be worth asking yourself how many other people in your own industry are quietly doing the same thing right now, while everyone else is watching the version of them that's easiest to underestimate. Television has a familiar pattern with talent it stumbles into by accident. Use them while the show's hot. Renew them if the ratings hold. Move on the moment it ends. It's not personal. It's just how the business works for people who were never supposed to be the story. Kaleb read that pattern early, and instead of hoping to be the exception, he spent 4 years building 3 separate companies that make the pattern irrelevant to him. Compare the 2 men at the center of this show. Clarkson was in his 50s when he started Diddly Squat, with decades of TV money and Grand Tour earnings already behind him, a safety net most people spend their whole careers trying to build. Kaleb started at 23 with a contracting business and 50 pence an hour as his entire foundation. 4 years on, he's crossed into 7 figures across 3 companies, with an Amazon deal that has nothing to do with Clarkson attached to his own name. One man built an empire from a position of total security. The other built one from a standing start most people would call impossible. It's worth sitting with which of those is actually the harder thing to pull off. And it isn't just the money that's grown, it's the range of what he's built. A media company, a working farming contractor business, still active, still doing the actual job, 3 books, a sold-out national tour, an independent Amazon relationship. Every one of those is a separate stream that doesn't depend on the others. If one slows down, the rest keep moving. That's not how a supporting character structures a career. That's how someone structures a career when they've already decided the show they're currently on isn't the ceiling, it's just the first rung. Here's the number that puts it all in perspective. His combined equity across the 3 companies is closing in on £1 million. Agricultural land in Oxfordshire currently runs £10,000 to £15,000 an acre. A 50 to 70 acre working farm in the right spot is now a realistic target. Not this year, but within a horizon that's genuinely credible for a 26-year-old with 3 growing businesses behind him, and a company literally structured to hold that exact kind of asset. The holdings company isn't sitting there by accident. It exists because the plan already does. So here's a real question, not a rhetorical one. Do you think Kaleb owns his own farm within 5 years? Put your answer in the comments and tell me why. I read every one, and I'll pin the best case for each side. And if this is the first time you've seen the actual numbers behind Kaleb Cooper, rather than just the funny farmhand version of him, that's the whole point of this channel. We go looking in public filings nobody else bothers reading, and we bring back what's actually there instead of what's easiest to assume. If that's useful to you, subscribing means you catch the next one before anyone else does. Kaleb Cooper started this decade earning 50 pence an hour on someone else's land. He's ending it with a media company worth close to £1 million, 3 best-selling books, an Amazon deal with his name on it, a farming contracting business still growing in the background, and a holdings company built specifically to buy a farm of his own. Nobody in television saw it coming. The filings were there the whole time. He just got there first.